G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. We're looking at doing a round 13 preview. So doing a preview for round 13, what my team's doing, some little tips and tricks that I can give you guys to help you guys sort of navigate this week, especially. I know it's coming out a little bit late. I sort of just got a little bit caught up on when to actually do the video because we have the Thursday night game, the Monday night, the Monday day game as well. So not all the teams are out. And by the stage that this comes out, the first game's already been played. So we've already had the Cats and Adelaide play. So what we'll do is we'll touch on that. There was a few things with my team that I did that directly involve that game as well. But apart from that, let's get stuck in. Thanks for all the support as well. Actually, before I sort of get stuck in, thanks for subscribing, liking, commenting, all that kind of stuff. It definitely helps out. So if you guys can continue to do that, subscribe. I think we're near 20 subscribers now, what I think is pretty good just starting out. So pretty stoked with that, and yeah, really really good to hear from you guys as well in the comments. I like being able to get back to you guys. So without further ado, though, let's get stuck in. If you didn't catch my review, this is what we did last week. 1747 for us, dropped only 241 spots. Was not too bad or such a low score. Sitting in the top 1% still at rank 1,360. So not too bad. Let's get stuck into the injuries and the team selections. Might just go through the team selections and then just base the injuries off that, just the ones that are relevant to this week. So injuries, Isaac Rankin coming out, but the good news is that it only looks like it's going to be one more week. I'd be wary with that. It could be another one, but for those that are holding, not the worst result, and for those that are sort of looking to bring someone back in or to bring in a forward, in the next few weeks, Isaac Rankin could be an option. You'd think he'd drop in price after a couple of games. I don't know if he's going to get the same role and how much that sort of contributed to him getting injured in the first place. But yeah, that's a watch and see. Hugo Hawker-Hahn, DPP. No, not DPP. Yeah, DPP mid forward, and he's also a mid-season draft player. I really like him. I brought him into my side this week. I'll explain why, because normally that's a red flag. I'm sure that the red flag just went off in every coach's brain when I said that, but I do have a reason. Whether or not it's a good one, who knows? We'll see in the future. But nothing really with Geelong. Maybe Mitch Edwards. Um, could be some sort of ruck cover for some players, but not anymore. He's out. So just being managed. This game's interesting for a few players. Bodie Ryan might provide some coverage for a few guys. Jack Gunston going out, I don't think many people would have him, but Lockie Jakes, some people had him sitting on the bench, and obviously great to have Cody Waitman back after 6,500 days out. He's back playing AFL, and I'm stoked because I go for the Dogs. I want him to be back playing good footy, but I don't think he is Supercoach relevant because even in his sort of prime, he didn't really score well anyway, but still a good player for the Dogs to have back for sure. This is an interesting one. With Finn O'Sullivan and Matthew Johnson, they're both sort of the taggers for each team. That sort of bodes well for Davies Uniacke, for Hayden Young, who's coming back into the side. There's a fair bit going on in this one for injury wise. I don't think these guys are going to be out for long. I think O'Sullivan's concussion. I can't remember what Matt Johnson's is, but I don't think it's a long one either. I'm pretty sure he was a test for this round. So expect them to both be back next week. But for this game, hopefully it frees up the mids for both sides. If you've got, sort of like a Luke Davies Uniacke or a Shea Bolton or something like that. I don't know who Sullivan would have gone to be honest. Probably would have gone to Hayden Young. Gold Coast, Brisbane. The big one is Hugh McCluggage going out injured with a calf. A lot of people have him. It staggers me that, not that it staggers me that people started him, but it just staggers me what he's done for the people that started him. You're expecting him to be top guy, top 10 sort of guy, and he's averaged 70. Just would have been a rough hold for the season. But, if you can jump off, but then there is like, who are you going to go to at this stage? He's at below 400k. So a real tricky one. Jai Murray coming in for his first game. Darragh Joyce is on the bubble. Shadow Brain playing his first game for the season. Maybe some people brought in Cody Curtin and Kadeem Coleman. There was a few owners there as well. So there's a fair bit going on Supercoach-wise in this game, just to be mindful of. this sucks for owners. Like, obviously, a lot of people wanted to sort of hold Josh Lindsay to his buy for coverage, but he's been omitted. What's just such a surprise to me. And they've brought back Starcevic. That's not a surprise that they brought back Starcevic. The surprise to me is that they dropped Josh Lindsay, but um, and that's the second time he's been dropped this year. So there's, I don't know, there's something maybe that's showing up in his, his numbers that just doesn't, you know, bode well for his spot in the side. Cochrane's in for his first game of the season. He's a sort of like an expensive-ish rookie. And then Tommy A, who is Tom Anastopoulos, who was on the bubble, is out, and our, you know, 20% game time merchant Jack Watkins is out as well. So unfortunate for people that were looking at bringing in Tom Anastopoulos. I was actually looking at bringing him in. I thought he was quite good, to be honest, but obviously not. Let's have a look. A lot going on in this Sydney St Kilda game. We've got Brodie Grundy back, so that's great for owners. Rose is back, who had a few admirers. Callum Mills back. These are squads, by the way, because it's Sunday. But if we have a look, Brodie Grundy's named on the field. Obviously, Peter Laddams is still sitting in the squad, so be mindful of that when it comes to your vice captaincy options. Callum Mills, I'm assuming he's named on the field. Yes, he is, so he's back in the side. And is Rose named on the field as well? He is. So them boys are back. So we have a look at the bench. Who knows who's going to get dropped? I'm not even going to bother speculating because it'd just be a guess. And then a lot happening for St Kilda. So we've got Stocker, Owens, Nazaya, Liam Ryan, Campbell Lake all coming in. Dodson, Hasty as well. And then Flanders is the big one injury-wise. But then two rookies that a lot of people have got are Jack Carroll and Liam Henry. So Jack Carroll's probably made his cash. He can probably go right. Liam Henry's a trick that just hasn't made much cash for owners, but probably just a dead rookie if he doesn't play from here on. The ones that are relevant for us, the selections that'll be relevant for us. Campbell Lake's probably the least of them, but he is a mid-season draft and could be an option. Also has DPP, so who knows where that sort of goes. Nas coming back in for owners is huge for people that have held him. Obviously, you want him playing. Liam Stocker is an interesting one. Maybe not for people owning Liam Stocker, but I'm going to go out on a limb. Obviously, I've got this channel, and the reason is to make an opinion. I think he'll play on Isaac Heaney this week, and I think he'll keep him to under 100. I like that matchup. I like the Stocker matchup to Heaney. I could be wrong, and it'll just be, it is what it is. You have an opinion, you make an opinion, and you get stuff wrong. But if I was going to take a wild guess at something this week, I would say Liam Stocker keeps Isaac Heaney to under 100. But what do I know? And then let's have a look. Banfield's the one that we need. So he's been named in the squad. Obviously, a lot of people brought him in, hoping he keeps his spot. You look at that, you got Hasty, Dodson, Campbell Lake, Liam O'Connell. Can he keep his spot in the side over sort of those guys? I think he can. I'd be pretty confident he gets another game. But it would really suck if he doesn't. And Justin McInerney was the other one that sort of had an injury cloud, but he's been selected, so that's great for people that have J Mac. Nothing going on at the Blues. I don't think any of those guys got listed on the field. So Zach Williams, Dirksen, and Cooper Lord all on the extended bench. Yeah, so I can't imagine there's going to be many changes there. Obviously, I'm hopeful that I don't know why I clicked on that, but hopeful that Wade Dirksen gets back into the side, but I think it's unlikely. And then the teams are yet to come out for Collingwood, Melbourne, but there is a mid-season recruit playing in what's his name, Mitch Bajadsky. And the ones for Essendon, Darcy Parish. Some people still holding on to him, and Sam Durham back in the team. Looks like Sada should hold his spot. He's named on the extended bench, but I think he will hold his spot. Maybe some people have Redmond as well, but the rest of these rookies are probably not too relevant to sides. Harrison Jones is named there. That would be interesting. He's named on the extended bench. It'd be interesting if they sort of go in with him on the bench and Thomas Edwards. I can imagine they probably only pick one, but for people that still have Thomas Edwards, so that'd be something to watch as well if you're sort of relying on him for some coverage. Alrighty, so that's this week's teams and trade targets. Teams and injuries. Let's get into the trade targets for the week. So I'm just going to talk about the most popular ones because they're the ones that are most likely to help you guys. So as you can see in the graphic below, but our traded in. So we'll go through the premium options. I'm not going to talk about any of these rookies that are sort of the most popular trade-ins, but we'll start off with Isaac Heaney. Like I said, I think this might be a down week for him, but do I think he's a great option to bring in? Of course. Um, I'm going to avoid it, and it's for a few reasons. It's for money reasons. It's for I don't have that many spots left. Trades. He's the player that I'm willing to take a risk on out of all the super premium guys. And the reason being is because he is obviously got this ability to just have these massive spike scores. He's probably the only player in the league that can have 30 and kick five like he did on the weekend. Um, what makes him a really good vice captaincy option because you have like a free swing at the stumps at a huge score that can make you round, and that's what I love about Isaac Heaney. It's the scores around that are just sort of par or run of the mill scores, you know, and he seems to get these scores against a really low rank side. So West Coast, Gold Coast is a really good super coach matchup, and Richmond. Apart from that, he's only got one score over 120, and it was against Melbourne. So for me, I don't see many of those matchups coming up. I think a lot of people would sort of circle the Saints two matchups, but I think Liam Stocker is a good matchup for him. And there's just tougher games there. I just can't imagine he's going to pump out these 160 plus scores. And if he's not doing that, I think he's the one player that I'm willing to go someone a bit cheaper that I think can match him for the rest of the season. The reality is I can't get the score that he got last week. It's done. Is he going to do that again? And I just don't think it's going to happen enough for me to really burn some trades to get Isaac Heaney in. So I'm going to take the risk and go without Isaac Heaney this year, unless it sort of is a really late in the season luxury trade. Maybe he comes in for this last sort of period against Port Essendon North or something like that. But apart from that, for now, we're going to go. My team's going to go past Isaac Heaney, but I think if you can bring him in, he's obviously a great option. If you got him, fantastic. Like he's not a bad option. He's just not the one that I need to take a risk somewhere, and that's where I'm going to take it. Matt Real, I think so. This is a great pick, and I should have got Matt Real. I sort of got run out of time, sort of thinking about Supercoach this week towards the end of the week, towards today, like the end of Thursday, and I just sort of rushed a trade. But yeah, with more thinking, I think this is a great pick. I was so big on him as well. Like I was so certain I was getting Matt Real, and then last moment I just swapped. But he scored 17 tons last year. I'm pretty sure it was like one, two, three, four, five, six scores over 140. This guy's a contested bull. Gets the ball in contested situation, clearances. Last year he was going forward and kicking goals. Reigning Brownlow medalist. I think he's a great pick, to be honest. So anyone that went there, great decision. For some reason, I thought, you know what, I'm not going to go Matt Rowell. Who would I going to pick for the rest of the year, Matt Rowell or LDU? I decided to go LDU, so he's the one I'm going to bring in next week, most likely. In hindsight, I should have just done Matt Rowell. I don't know what I'm doing, but or maybe just both. But you'll see what I did in a sec. I think he's a fantastic trade, though. Cal Wilkie, yeah, for the price, fantastic. Is he going to be top six defender? Probably top eight, definitely. I think. St Kilda just play that chip mark sort of across halfback. They switch it a heaps, and he's sort of the guy that sits in the middle and gets that first sort of kick on the switch. It's horrible football to watch, but it works for Cal Wilkie to score points. So that's all I care about if you've got Cal Wilkie in your super coach team. So yeah, I think he's a great option, and he's obviously good value as well. Christian Petrarca, top two forward. It's the best perfect week to get him right. If you don't have him, this is a no-brainer to me. So great time to bring in Christian Petrarca. Horn Francis, I don't mind this pick. It's obviously risky. He just fluctuates so much. Like he's 370s on the bounce. So 2 tons, 370s on the bounce, and a 60 in there, and then 128. He has the ability to do these massive spike scores. I don't mind that for the F6 though. If you got sort of 5 consistent guys or 4 consistent guys and sort of 2 guys that can spike, you're only going to get one of their scores anyway because you're taking your best 23. So I feel like those last 2 spots in the forward line, you just go 2 guys that can go massive. And that's sort of what I'm planning. And at 440, that's pretty good. Like I feel like that's a pretty good option. He's got the role too. He's got the role. So Port Adelaide got no one else. So yeah, I can see why people are going there. Luke Davies Uniac, I love this pick. I don't know why I'm so sold on this pick, but I think it's obviously the run. But I've never been a Luke Davies Uniac guy, but I watched him play the other day, and I was like, he's a gun. Like there's something about I want that guy on my team. So West Coast, Richmond, Essendon, Port, Collingwood, Melbourne. It's just a good run. The last part of the season's tough. Hawks, Bulldogs, Cats, Sydney, but I'll back him in to do well. I'll back him in to do well to at least then, and then I'll get rid of him if I feel like sideways trading and have the trade late in the season. Max Holmes, I can see why people went there. 560k for D1 is quality. It's probably as cheap as he's sort of going to get this week or next week. I think is he coming off a ton or a 90? Yeah, he's good buying, but I think with the buy coming up, I thought I would sort of prefer to wait on someone like a Max Holmes, but um, obviously people are going there. And Riley Sanders, I think obviously I'm late to the party saying this, but he's good to go. I just don't think Lib is going to affect him that much. He'll come in and take some minutes, but I think they'll sort of spread that out. I don't think they can afford to not give Sanders minutes. He has just stepped up in a big way. He's the future for the Dogs. 4 tons on the bounce, an 85, then 100, 290s, and he's so consistent. After these first 2 rounds, he's been a fantastic buy. So yeah, if you can bring him in and it doesn't affect your buy, that's great. Or just bring him in after the buys is probably ideal. It's not going to go up too much in price, you'd think, till then. So yeah, Riley Sanders, I think, is top 6 forward now. So you can take that one to the bank if you got him. Let's get into the Bubble Boys. So tricky round for the Bubble Boys. So I've got Cam Nan and Bailey McDonald in picture. Let's have a look. Let's scroll to 2 games played. So it's real tricky. So the Bubble Boys that are obviously budget price as well. We've got Bailey McDonald, Dara Joyce, and Cam Nan, and that's basically it. We had Tommy A, but he's gone down. Well, he's not playing. Cam Nan, it's a job security thing and a scoring potential. I just don't think he has either. Dara Joyce, I think he could probably score okay ish, but job security is an issue again. Bailey McDonald, I think, has the best scoring potential and probably the best job security of the three, but I still don't love the job security. I think Hawthorn's best side doesn't have these guys because they're pushing for flags. They want to bring in their experienced players. I don't think they're going to take too many young players through. Maybe, obviously, they're good coverage for injuries and stuff like that, but I just don't think that they'll take them through the season. Andy Manise Wakefield, unfortunately, did his ACL. He would have been on the bubble this week. What's unfortunate because that's 2 seasons in a row, but he looked like quite a handy player. To me, just wasn't getting the game time obviously this year yet, but I think he had good potential. Um, and then I suppose these guys are kind of on the bubble of going up in price, but they're basically priced like premium, so no point talking about them. But it does lead me into my next point, what is going early on rookies. So normally red flag, and that's why I've got the red flag emoji there. And I agree with you, but desperate times call for desperate measures. And the one message that I want to get across is when you're picking your teams is just to think about what you're going to do with the rookies that you're bringing in now. If you have the cash generation to get the team that you want, you probably want to go the bottom price rookies now, as long as they still have decent job security. And I'll compare two together. So I'll compare Hugo Hawkahan, who played tonight, to someone like Bailey McDonald, right? I'm more inclined to go someone like Hugo Hawkahan because you're going to save 25k now. What's really important, and I really doubt that my team is ever going to use Bailey McDonald's um, cash generation to get to a premium. I probably have enough cash generation to get to the sort of a roundabout team that I want. For me, I'd just be bringing a player that is coverage for the rest of the season. So why wouldn't I save the money and still have coverage if I think their job security is just as good? I think Hugo Hawk Hans is actually better. I think his scoring potential is better. I was really high on him. Like I was pretty confident in bringing him in. Bajatsky, not so much, but I have to. But I think his job security is stronger and has the role. So those two guys, especially, I think they've been sort of handpicked to play now, and I'd be confident in going them right away to have good job security. If you need the cash generation, the guys on the bubble, you have to take the risk because they're going to get you the cash quicker to be able to get the upgrade that you want. But if you're not going to use these guys for cash gen, just keep in mind saving the 20k now can be two players, that's 40k, and they're still going to be coverage for you. Um, if you're sort of spending an extra 20k for a guy that's just coverage and not going to be cash gen, like his cash gen is not going to be used, you might as well just go the cheaper guy. So that's my opinion on that. And you'll see in my trade later, I've gone two mid-season draft players. Massive red flag normally. And you know what? This can come back to bite me, but I'm confident with these two guys playing a fair amount of footy. I think they've been brought in for a reason. I think Hugo Hawker just obviously Adelaide still have some players to come back. I could get this really wrong and then it's just horrible. So it's not for every single team. But even if he is a dead rook, Hugo Hawker at least can be moved into the midfield, and it doesn't leave me two dead rookies in defence. I'm pretty confident some of these mid-season draft players are going to get consistent games, like Jackson Artemis, Hugo Hawker, Bajadsky. I think they're going to play these guys. And then let's go to under the radar. So this is where I give you guys just little golden nuggets, just players flying under the radar that are going to, you know, get you a pot option or something along those lines. It's just going to be a little bit of a point of difference for your team. While all sort of players are looking one way, you can snap on these players. So the first one I want to bring up is Tom McCarthy. Last week we had Max Hall and George Hewitt. I still really like them both. I think Max Hall can sort of be the next Riley Sanders, sort of like the mid-season version. I don't think he's as good. Like obviously these picks are a little bit speculative. Like I can't just, you know, it's very hard to sort of grab a pod in the middle of the season. But I think Max Hall has the potential with his job role. Like this is a big watch now with Nas back in. Watch for Max Hall CBAs. If he keeps his CBAs after the buy, he could definitely be an option. Or hope even now he could be an option if you're well sort of covered for that buy. Tom McCarthy though, break even of 51, 447. His season's been pretty consistent. You have a look. From round 6, 117, 76, 108, 107, 44, 117, 108, and Lindsay now out. That means all the kick-ins are going to Tom McCarthy. This is the week to jump on Tom McCarthy, trust me. If you're going to go a player, I reckon this is 100 average from here on out for 447. And a lot of people are probably going to be like, I'll just go Cam Wilkie, he's the safe option. Maybe you need to go both. Maybe you already got Cam Wilkie. Maybe you need to save money. You need to go McCarthy, Wilkie. I don't think McCarthy is. I think this is a flying under the radar pick, only in 5% of teams. His ownership's actually gone down since the start of the season. So I'm bullish on on Tom McCarthy. Let's watch for him to go 100 plus against Port this week, and then everyone jumping on. The buy is he's got a decent buy, but it's just in a couple of weeks, so you'd be going early. But I really like this pick. If you're short in defense, you don't sort of have a complete defense. This is your guy, I reckon. It's pretty hard for me to find another one. The other one I'm thinking of is kind of a forgotten man now, and it's a Luke Parker. He's going to be about 460k. Really good start to the season, and everyone sort of was like, "Yep, he's the guy. Let's jump on Luke Parker." His ownership just slowly rose after these 3 tons, and then it's sort of stagnated. And there's people probably thinking, "I'm not going to go there." I think he's a good option. Do I think Tom McCarthy's a better option? Yeah, probably. But for the price, I don't think maybe you need to go 3 guys. Maybe you need to go Wilkie, Parker, and McCarthy. I like this pick. I think I like him as a player. He's good. He's got the role. You know, I'd be confident in Luke Parker being 95 plus. Is that good enough? I don't know. Depends on your side. But if I had to pick between the two, it'd be McCarthy. But I think Luke Parker's another one. So there's two sort of. I know 10% is not really a pod, but I was struggling to find another one this week. Give me a break. And then our skippers for the week. So let's have a look at who I think are the best captaincy options of the week. You've got the graphic below there. Just let me bring up the graphic for me. So my first pick this week is Max Gorn. So I love this pick as skipper this week. We've got, obviously, with everything that's going on, and thoughts go out to the Danaher family. And I think Monday is going to be a fantastic celebration of Neil Danaher's, life. And I just think it's going to be such a great event. Obviously, the fight MND, big freeze slide, and everything going on that day is fantastic for that. So if you guys can, obviously contribute in any way, beanies, virtual beanies, or just donations is fantastic. So um, yeah, obviously thoughts, and I just think it's going to be a fantastic sort of day in general. Um, but this day is just built for Max Gorn. I think with everything going on, he's the skipper of the ship. It's the MCG against the Pies, King's birthday, um, with everything that's gone on against Darcy Cameron, who isn't the greatest sort of centre bounce ruckman. Um, my call is Gorn 150 plus. I'm going. I had a look at the weather forecast as well. It looks good. He's going to be taking grabs. He's going to be kicking goal. If Max Heath isn't playing, Max Gorn, it could almost be an A plus for me. Let's just change it now. I'm just going to make that A plus. Just imagine I put A plus there. The rest of these guys, Isaac Heaney, risky because he's playing on Stocker, but I think just because of his ability to go massive, he's a good vice captaincy option. I don't know if he's the guy that you want to be banking on, because I think Stocker will do a job, but obviously he has the ability to go huge. So that's why I've included him there. Nick Dacos, I think, will go. I think he's a moral for 115 plus. So I think he's also a really good option. Bailey Smith, I thought, was a good option tonight. Scored 170 earlier this season in the wet against Adelaide. Had plenty of the ball tonight, but just butchered it for a 106. So that one sort of didn't pay off. And the other one's Marcus Bontempelli. He's another sort of shy at the stumps for a vice captain, I feel like. I think probably not the greatest record against Hawthorn, but does have the ability to just go large because it's Marcus Bontempelli, right? So I think they're the five best options. Heaney and Bont were more vice captaincy. Heaney, Bont, and Smith were sort of more vice captaincy. If you're going to bank on a captain, I think I'd be definitely going Gorn. If not, if you don't have Gorn, Nick Dacos, I think. So that's where I've gone with that. And now let's get into the round 13 preview. So I'll show you guys the trades that I've made this week and just quickly run through my team and how we're looking. So we're going to go, this week we traded in Hall Kahan, Bailey Smith, and Pajatsky. Traded out Edwards, Rechko, and Flanders. I had Matt Rowell in my side guaranteed for weeks. I was thinking, this is the round. I'm bringing in Matt Rowell. He's going to be cheap. And then for some reason, last minute, I decided to go Bailey Smith because of the Flanders injury. And the reason is because in the future, I think I'm going to struggle for trades. I want to have 4 or 5 trades sort of after my team's full premium to be able to navigate the end of the season. I don't think it would probably cost. I need to have Bailey Smith. I feel like it. If I went Rao this week, I would only have one more spot in my midfield. It just didn't make sense. I would have to sort of sideways trade a Neil or an Oliver to Bailey Smith, and that would probably cost me 2 trades, just because of the price gap that I expect to be there. I just don't. I thought I need to bring in Bailey Smith now to fill one of those 2 spots rather than sideways trade him in later. It's just going to cost me too much trades. So I made the decision just to go, and it breaks all my rules. It breaks buying players off the buy rule. It breaks break-even rules. But he was the only player I was certain that I needed in my team this week. That is a keeper. In hindsight, I probably should have gone Rowell, or I really like Zach Bailey with McCluggage out. So if I was going to sideways Flanders, I would have definitely gone Zach Bailey. But I went Bailey Smith. Didn't really pay off either. So, because in hindsight, really, the premium that I bring in this week is probably not going to contribute that much unless they went massive. I thought he had the chance to go massive, so I chucked the VC on him, and that's how it would have paid off. It didn't. So, probably a shit decision because he's going to go down in price, and LDU probably has a chance to go up, and that's who I'm looking at bringing in next week. But they were the thoughts behind that. Hawker and Pajatsky, the reason I brought up before is because they're 99k. I think their job security is just as good as the other rookies that are on the bubble, and I'm probably not going to use their cash gen. So they're really just players for cover. Edwards is out because even if he scores his break even this week, 55, it's probably his max sort of scoring as we've seen. his break even is going to be so low because of that 19 he scored last week. His break even is going to be higher, sorry. So he's probably not going to make money before his buy anyway. He's only got 2 games, so I might as well trade him now. And I'm not going to use his score on field. Rechko, because he has the buy, still has money to make, but I needed his cash for the trades I'm going to make next week. And then Flanders obviously out with Achilles for the rest of the season. Let's have a look at my team real quick. So the team that's going to be going this weekend and my captaincy and vice captaincy picks and all that. Sinclair, Holmes. I was having a look at Hawker Hahn just in case Dirksen got named. I'll take Hawker Hahn 72. So I'll put Whitfield on the field just so I can get Hawker Hahn. Roberts, Worrell, and Dacos, who we will be trading at next week unless something miracle happens. Bailey Smith, Zach Butters, Bontempelli, Ed Richards, Lockie Neal, Nick Dacos, Elijah Sardis, and then we're going to have a look at Ison. If he scores poorly, we'll just roll the dice with Anderson. If not, Anderson might even be named, so who knows. So hopefully Ison is, so we can take his score. Max Gawn as captain, Luke Jackson, and then Sheasel, Petrarca, Pickett, Murphy Reed, Milan Murdoch, and we're probably going to go with, I don't know yet, probably not Will Lewis. I don't think he's going to do too well against the Hawks. So maybe Banfield against Sydney, and Sydney is tough as well. Maybe we just go Will Lewis. I don't think it's going to matter much because I think we've got too many players that are going to score better than our sort of F6, but maybe we just roll the dice and go like maybe Banfield. It probably has the best chance of scoring a decent score. But that's our team for the week. That's our round 13 preview. So thanks for joining me again. Obviously, sorry for the video being out a little bit late. I just didn't know when to make it with the Monday game and the Thursday night game. Obviously, we've sort of missed a game already, but all the best this week for your Supercoach teams and your footy teams. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, comment, let me know what's going on, and I will get back to you guys. And yeah, thanks for all the support so far. It's been great. So I will catch you guys later. Take it easy.